everyone, it's your girl Linda. Welcome to my show, Champagne Talks. Today is my fourth episode. Wow. And we have a very beautiful guest and amazing subject titled The Role of Oldest Children in the Family. Wow. Kindly welcome this beautiful dancer, Miss Olivia.
Hi everyone.
Welcome to my show. Thanks for coming.
Thanks
You're
for having
welcome.
me.
Wow. All right. Your subject is quite interesting, so we have to dig into it. So it says the role of oldest children in the family. So the question is, what is it like being the oldest child?
I mean, overall, like with all these children, we have like a lot of responsibility. I guess because like the first thing is that we're the first child of our parents, and typically like parents, there isn't like a manual of how to be a parent, so we kind of are like in a way like the test, because like the parents finding out and like learning new things. Okay, this is what works, this doesn't work. So then if they have another child, they now know a bit better, and they learn more and more as they have other children. But usually with us being like the first, it's a bit like hard, and sometimes we're usually born when like the parents aren't as stable as they would be when they have like their final child.
Yes.
You know, and by then they would have grown more and matured more and stuff like that, and I would have experienced more that gives them more guidance. You know, but yeah, as the oldest child, there is a lot of responsibility.
It's an interesting journey.
Yeah, it is, because like we too, it's like we also
you want to feel like you're children as well.
Yeah, but sometimes it's
you
not.
see yourself looking after all the children. Yeah. So yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's like in some way we kind of play like multiple roles. Like we have to be our parents' child, but also in a way be a parent to our younger siblings. Yeah, and it's even more interesting when you look at it from like the oldest daughter perspective, because you know like there are certain like roles for women in society and like expectations of women, and how that falls on us as the oldest daughter is like we're expected to be like a mother, like a very motherly role, nurturing, caring, like we're expected to be like open for everyone, to the point of which sometimes we kind of forget to look after ourselves, because we're busy like trying to accommodate everyone, you know, and like that's just it in a way for like oldest children in general. But sometimes it can be very like lonely, because like, you know, with our younger siblings,
at times all the parents' attention goes to the younger ones, so the older ones, they don't feel that.
You know, sometimes we feel like we're forgotten, or sometimes you know, like, you know how the younger siblings, they have the oldest one to go to for advice, and then when you're the oldest one, there's people you're gonna go to, like something, you know, because there's some things you don't want to tell your parents, but you want to tell like a close sibling. But it's like you're the oldest sibling,
so how could you not tell the one that I get it? Know, it's a bit challenging.
So you know, and like sometimes, you know, when like the oldest child, sometimes we tend to hold bitterness or like resentment towards like our parents, because you know, we grow up.
You feel like you've not given that attention that you needed.
Especially like if we're born very close. It's even more like, oh, I barely had time, but like all your attention's on the younger ones, you know. So sometimes, you know, with older children, it can be that way, wherein we don't really get to be fully a child. As we're growing up, we need to be.
But at times, as the oldest daughter, do you think parents doing that is it intentional or oversight? How do you see it? Like, what makes, like, you have to think of something that will make you it's not that keeps you going.
I mean, I'll be honest, like when I was younger, let's say around 13, I felt like it was on purpose.
Okay.
Like, and like when I spoke to other of my friends who are also like the oldest child and the oldest daughters as well, we felt like, oh, our parents, they don't see us. And, like,
do you think it has to do with
purpose.
more African parents?
I feel like it's also a cultural thing too. Like your culture then comes to play because like in our culture, the woman, women were expected to like clean and cook, and
stuff like that. Yes.
Quiet, let the man be.
And when you have multiple kids, it's difficult to actually get to all the children. So some will be left out.
Yeah.
So I get what you mean. It can be very challenging to all those parents.
Yeah.
Other daughters. Yes.
And like back then, I used to be like really angry and upset because I felt like, oh, my parents are just doing this.
But as you're growing,
as I grew older and like I started to learn more, started paying taxes and bills and stuff.
So now you know better, you see it better.
So I see it differently as I've grown older and like reflect on it. I don't see it as like
it was a bad thing. Yes.
Yeah, I feel
yes.
Like I feel like I'm now have more grace.
Yes.
And more understanding.
Yes.
That's actually
you see things differently.
That's actually allowed me to like forgive. It was an interesting journey. I cried because there's some things that make you feel like it does shape how you go out into the world. Like even in psychology, they say like the relationship you have with your parents kind of will like have an influence on the relationships you make as an adult.
Outside, yes.
Yeah. So it was like I had to really like sit down with the hurt and like the sadness and the anger and stuff. And like through that, when I did that, I then also had to like look at the circumstances surrounding the whole thing, and that helps you. I was like, oh, my parents, they were still young. They were in a new country. They were still learning.
It's new
there was a lot of things that they need to do on their own. So in a way, it's not that they didn't love me or like they hated me. It was more of it was like, as you said, it was a bit of like an oversight.
Yeah. Okay. What type of expectation and pressure does it come with? Well, we've actually touched a little bit there, what we said earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the expectation? Let's just focus on the expectation.
I guess the first expectation is like being the role model. Like you need to be the perfect child because you have siblings that are looking up to you.
Yes.
So if your siblings do like, sometimes it feels as if your siblings fail at something or they make a mistake,
it's your responsibility.
It's a reflection of you. Like,
they learned it from you. Yes. So it becomes a pressure.
Yeah.
That you have to be spot on all the time because they're watching.
Yeah, and like on the flip side, it's like you have to be perfect because your achievements and like your achievements or the failures or your mistakes are not your mistakes. They're like the mistakes of the family. So
like I get what you mean. I have elder brother. At times, I will say to him personally, certain things you're doing, if your younger one is doing it, is he gonna be okay?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then I forgot that he's a human being as well. He can make his mistakes. He can be wrong. So I get exactly what you're saying. We feel. I think when I say it's our mentality, especially do I tag it like is African thing or is it in general like individuals things like that?
There's like collectively there is that, but then it kind of changes based on the culture of the family, like how you're brought up.
So you tend to transfer the same thing to your own children. So
it causes a lot of pressure, like a lot of stress. Like you need to make sure you get all the A stars. You need to make sure you get perfect. Yeah, you need to be perfect.
You're not gonna blame African parents.
If you get an A,
to get everything
why do you not get an A star? It's like, well, but do you know how hard it was to get the A?
All right, moving forward. How would other daughters navigate the challenges? Or challenges being the oldest daughter, or however you want to put it?
I guess we'll go back to like what I said before, wherein like you have to kind of like sit with it and like just personally, you know, sit with like the hurt or the pain or the anger or whatever you're feeling, and like just sit with it and just like ask yourself why. You can like write about it, you can journal about it, you know, or like rant to yourself. Just find an outlet for it, and then as you do that, you'll kind of like explore yourself and also explore, you know, your circumstances around you. And I guess another way to navigate would be like when you're comfortable, you know, having these type of conversations with like your parents or with like trusted adults around you, you know, and just like tell them, you know, I feel like
let it out. So you'll be feel much better.
Yeah, because if you carry it in you, it will build and build and become something very horrible.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You won't like show as your best self. You'll be something other than yourself.
I think I understand what you're saying from from my own view or perspective. Parents, especially the women, because men are out there probably pursuing one thing or the other, but parents, the woman's side, you know, especially when a woman has more than 2 or 3 children and the gap are very little, maybe 1 year gap or 2 years gap. So to the woman, it's also difficult because at times they intend to even forget themselves.
Yeah.
Because what you do is running around, making sure everybody is fine, and the smallest one there, you have to make sure that one is okay. And then it's like at times you want to do something, you tell the other one, "Can you take care of this one? Let me do this thing." Even yourself, you're thinking your mindset or your thinking whatever is not even accurate because you're under pressure.
Yeah.
As the main adult.
Yeah.
Then that can now transfer to the younger ones, but it's not intentionally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it happens when you have multiple kids, and their age is quite kind of, you know, 1 year, 2 years. But when you have maybe 8 years, 10 years gap, you'll be able to kind of take care of that little one, allowing the other one to be themselves. But at the end of the day, from where I'm, you know, coming from Africans area, we keep mentioning Africa. How I was raised is that the responsibility in the family is on the shoulder of the other ones. My brother and my senior sister. So if let's say my mom comes in, she wanna ask question or anything, that's the people that she's gonna ask first. So we are just there, you know, and it will feel like those young ones, they're being pampered. But trust me, the other ones are learning more than the younger ones, because when you're not growing up, you not see that obviously that thing was actually educating you. However, we should also allow children to be children. So the last question here is, what are the benefits of being the older sister? So while you are talking to me about it, you also focus on the camera. The audience, they are looking at you. So tell them there are a lot of audience ones at the daughters, brothers, sons, whatever. They are there. So they need to hear what you have to say. So what are the benefits?
I mean,
what have you gained?
I mean, I guess because we are the oldest ones, we kind of just get like respect. You know, especially if you are in a family that has like a hierarchy amongst the young, amongst the children. You know, like, oh, if you're older, you know, the younger ones have to answer what you say. So, you know, there is a sense of like a power thing there, but you have to be careful with that. We tend to like, even when we're younger, I remember like sometimes I would get like more food.
Extra,
extras because you know, the oldest, you know, a little bit more pocket money because I'm the oldest.
And you get whatever you ask for will be given to you first as the oldest one. So these are all the benefits.
Yeah, you know, we're always like first in line. But then again, it also links with the pressures because if we're going to be getting that level of respect and like, you know,
you have to earn it.
We have to earn it. We have to, you know, we have to carry that. So in a way, there are the benefits.
You just have to balance it. It's find a way to figure. It's a balance. Get it going.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah, it's balancing.
But I guess the main, personally, the main benefit is seeing your younger siblings grow and like being like really proud. Like when I see my younger siblings and I'm seeing them doing this and doing that, and I'm just like, oh my god, my children, my children are growing. And you get so proud in it. I feel like that's the best benefit is seeing your younger sisters and brothers, you know, your younger siblings.
It's like me. I've got my younger sister. And if I see her watching her YouTube and the rest, I'm like, okay, is that her? Wow, I'm a proud sister, you know?
Yeah.
I talk about her everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you go around and you be like, oh, this is my baby brother, and he's doing this.
Imagine being the oldest, and then you see your younger ones not doing maybe negatively part. How would you feel? You see, that's why when we take if I take us back to where we're, you know, where we started the conversation. Now, the reason why some parents kind of say want the oldest one to behave well because the other ones will emulate them. This is the reason. Because what you do, children, they mimic a lot.
Yeah.
So, and when they are growing, what you say is what they're gonna pick. So that's why we have to be careful. And the very oldest one in the house have to be more careful because that's the one parents probably put in place to take care of them. But that doesn't take away that children should be allowed to be children. But along the line, as we like now, you're saying when you see your siblings, you smile. You see, because who is my sister? They will question. They will say it's you. They will answer it's you. Who is she? What does she do? Oh, I'm proud of my big sister. She's doing this. So I want to be like my sister. I want to achieve what my sister is achieving. I want my sister to be proud of me. You know, stuff like that. So it makes them focus more.
Yeah.
You know, they want to call you. Oh, sis, I want to do this. What do you think? Do you have any advice? Do you know? You know, because you've been there. You are there. You've already developed. You've evolved. You are good. So you now have what it takes to give them. Do you know what? So we Africa, where I'm coming from, we kind of train the eldest child strongly to empower them, motivate them, so that they will be more independent. I will be able to carry on. But like I said, we have to. I think parents should find a way. We need to balance it somehow. Yeah, we just need to balance it somehow.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be too much.
Yeah, that's why children, it needs to be balanced.
Like, I understand wanting, you know, us as older children to be independent, which is good, right? Especially in today's society. But at the same time, like, we still should be given the space for them, you know, to be able to be the child and be dependent on the parent and not feel like
very correct.
We're coming up a giant mountain every time we want to just speak to our parent. It's like, oh, we need to jump so high instead of being able to just, you know, be like a baby that cools, you know.
So as you can see, she's spoken to you. She said something to you people. You said the benefits are seeing your younger ones doing well, you'll be proud of them, and then getting the fastest food, the best clothes, the best everything, the best money, the bigger money, right?
Yeah.
So these are all the benefits. So if you are the oldest one out there, please don't be upset. Just see the positive side of it and be proud of your siblings and make sure you're in the right direction so that your siblings will be able to copy the good side and then become better in life, right? What do you have to tell young people out there or others ones out there? What advice do you want to tell them? How did you make it happen? Look at you, you look so smashing, so nice. I love that hair, by the way. So what do you have to tell them?
So the first one would be...
So they're looking at you right now.
The first one would be, remember to take a step back and like ask to take a step back to look after yourself, because sometimes you can become so absorbed in your role in the family that you kind of forget yourself. So yeah, making sure to look after yourself is not selfish, right? If you're taking that time out for yourself, because if you don't, then you wouldn't be able to be there when you're needed, you know. So that's the first one. The second one again is just like remember that this is a process. and it's because cliche as it sounds, is to learn how to forgive your parents and your siblings, and just learn how to forgive your family as you grow older. That doesn't mean that you should, like, if they're like being too much or being like abusive and stuff, that doesn't mean you should lie down and let them like treat you horribly. But at the same time, like in forgiving them, you are forgiving yourself, and that you let go of what's going on, you know. And even if that means that, even if they're, like I said, if they're being abusive and you have to, like, you know, separate yourself, that's fine. But at the end of the day, they are your family, so keeping them somewhat in contact with you, you know, in a way that's comfortable with you, is more than enough. So don't let anyone try to make you feel like it's not. And the final one, it's not necessary for like the oldest children. It's mainly like for the parents. Parents, please try not to forget that your oldest child is a child, and also try not to compare your oldest child to your younger children too much, because in doing so you can actually cause friction amongst the children, wherein jealousy, sibling rivalry can start to build, and that is a horrible thing. Siblings should not be competing with each other, they should be helping each other to grow.
Absolutely.
So be very mindful of that. And I guess in general to younger people is like, try and find, even if it's just one adult, it could be a parent, it could be an aunt, it could be a teacher, social worker, youth worker, whoever it is, try to find at least one trusted adult who you can go to for advice, who you can go to speak about things. You will find it will be so helpful, because they have lived experience that they can share and advice that they can give you, right, that may potentially help you with how you're going through with things, especially if you're going into that, if you're growing older and you've become 18 and now you're having to pay taxes and you're having to do this and there's things you don't understand about, like, the world. These adults will be able to help you if you find it. So even if it's just one, at least find one. So yeah, that's my advice.
That's a very good one. So please find someone out there. There is always help. There's help out there. All you have to do is ask. Yeah, and you get it. Okay. Now we are moving to the game. All right, I'm gonna explain a little bit, what this game is all about. This is end of the year, obviously, winter, blah blah blah. So next year, people like to go out summer, find somewhere, whatever to go, stay, just change environment is very important. So what we do here is to help people figure out where they can go. So you have 3 options. So how does it work? It works like this. So you're gonna swing this thing like this. When it stops, the very first country your eyes catches is will help you. That probably maybe that will be, I don't know, number 1 on your list or second on your list. Yeah, so you do 3, I will do 3. I'm targeting a country though, and I've done this in 3 times, and that country refused to turn. And I hope it's gonna turn up right now.
Okay,
like that, it's good.
Oh, Saudi Arabia.
Okay, do you want to go there?
It will be nice too. Seems like it's an interesting place.
Yeah. Okay, this time around, put a bit of force, a little bit force. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Nigeria.
Yeah. Nigeria.
What is it?
Nigeria.
You're kidding.
No, it's right there.
Is it Nigeria?
Yeah.
Okay, we got Nigeria.
Visit.
Okay.
Visit.
It's interesting. All right, let's do one more time. You need to visit Nigeria then. Are you going next year?
I would love to.
Okay.
Africa loves to come up for me, man. Angola.
So we have 3. What was the 3?
Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, and Angola.
So which one do you think you wanna go?
I ain't gonna lie. The one I wanna go to more, it would be Nigeria.
I'm gonna go with you to Nigeria. Okay, I'm gonna do mine. Oh my god, this country, can you come out already? No, wait. I'll redo it. I'm sorry, it needs to face me. So I will see it properly. Star. Guess what? South China. Why is this thing taking us where I don't want to go? Not anywhere I don't want to go.
But China seems nice. I
don't mind going to China, but not I need to cover a few areas. Okay, please, Bahamas.
Oh, exotic.
I wouldn't mind. Nah. That's kind of music. It's gonna be interesting. Come on, Switzerland. Okay, yeah. I think I don't mind Switzerland. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, Switzerland, they're nice people.
Yeah, of course. It's good. It's good. Okay. We cannot finish this show without sipping champagne. Remember, the show is called Champagne Talks. Yeah. And we need to sip champagne. So I'm gonna cheers with my lovely guest, Miss Olivia.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. It's it's very interesting subject, and we enjoyed it. Thank you. So we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching us. Thank you.
Thank you for
coming. Thank you. So, and this is my 4th episode, and I'm gonna see you guys very soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.